Secondly, Madam Chair, Ramil Madriaga is a polluted source. He is facing kidnapping with murder charges. In 2021, one member of the anti-kidnapping gang was killed. The PNP member of the anti-kidnapping gang. And then they were arrested in 2022, 2023. That's why he is in jail. And now we're going to give credence to a polluted
Chair.
affidavit.
Point
Madam
of
Chair,
order.
no,
There
Madam
is a
Chair.
point of order,
Let us clarify,
Honorable
we're trying to
Rodriguez.
protect somebody who is a polluted source. In fact, in
Madam
the
Chair.
cases of the
Honorable
Supreme Court.
Rodriguez, there's a point of order.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Let's hear the
Madam-
point. It's been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair.
Is that an objection,
I
Honorable
object.
Rodriguez?
I object. This is now a clear fishing expedition against the Vice President. Thank you.
Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, objection because, again, there is a statement here in the third column that it's also his testimony on the DepEd's confidential funds. Therefore, object, Madam Chair, because it is this humble representation's position that under the Duterte versus House of Representatives ruling, only actions pertaining to the impeachable office of the impeachable official can only be the subject matter here. Objection, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair.
The Honorable motion of the
Definitely.
Honorable Tino?
I object. Are there documents that the Chief of Staff, Attorney Poa, has signed that he would be a witness to identify? May I ask the proponent?
Before we... Any objection?
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Rodriguez.
we cannot
Are you objecting?
manifestation first before I would make my. We cannot have two motions being proposed at the same time. Practically, there should be two motions. The first motion are the NBI findings. The second is the SALN. We should go one by one, Madam Chair, because I am going to agree to vote yes to the first one. The second one, it is a fishing expedition. It is not. There are no ultimate facts on the SALN of the Vice President. So I will vote no. I will object to the second one. The first one goes, Madam Chair.
May
So
we
should
hear
divide-
from the...
We should have two motions instead of only one. Two subject matters. Under our rules, in the rules of court, motions should only be on one subject matter.
May we hear from our proponent? The Honorable Rodriguez is suggesting that there should be one motion per subpoena. The Honorable Chua?
Madam Chair, with respect to the second subpoena, I move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to the Office of the Ombudsman for the issuance of the duly certified true copies of the Statement of Assets and Liabilities and Net Worths of the Vice President SARA Zimmerman Duterte for the years 2022 to 2025 inclusive, 2007 to 2013 inclusive, and 2016 to 2022 inclusive. So move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena to the Ombudsman with respect to the SALN of the Vice President from 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, 2016 to 2022. The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair.
Is that an objection,
I
Honorable
object.
Rodriguez?
I object. This is now a clear fishing expedition against the Vice President. Thank you.
Considering that the motion has been objected to, we shall proceed to divide the House. Justice members, please be ready to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion for issuance of subpoena to the Ombudsman for the production of SALNs from 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, and 2016 to 2022. Please raise your right hand. Vote in the negative and 0 abstention. The motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue subpoena duces tecum to the Ombudsman for the production of the SALN of the Vice President corresponding to the period of 2022 to 2025, 2007 to 2013, and 2016 to 2022. So ordered.
Discussion. I'd like to have a clarification.
Just for the record, the motion of the Honorable De Lima has been seconded by the Honorable
Yes,
Zamora.
now
Honorable
discussion.
Rodriguez.
I would like to clarify. Clarification from the proponent. I'm gonna move on. Is this the confidential funds of 2022 and then 2023 of the Office of the Vice President and not the Office of the Secretary of the Department of Education? May we know? May we clarify?
There are documents pertaining to the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President, and there are also documents pertaining to the confidential funds for the Office of the DepEd, Department of Education.
Madam
Because
Chair.
those are grounds number 1 and 2 of the affidavit, of the complaint, the Saballa et al. Complaint.
Madam Chair, when our distinguished Congresswoman De Lima, she mentioned of 22 and 23 years. In your first
23.
motion, when you stated the motion, 22, 23. So that's why I'm getting clarification. Are you now including the DepEd confidential funds?
There
Because
are
your
also
motion is 22 and 23.
22, 2023.
Because the COA has not been able to have a final notice of disallowance on the DepEd confidential funds.
Again, may I?
Yeah,
ask?
because when I heard you, it was 2022, 2023. That is pertaining to the Office of the Vice President. But then now you're saying, in my clarification, that you are also moving for her to be able to give documents regarding the confidential funds of the Office of the Department of Education where she was secretary. Let us be clarified on that. Are
Yes,
you
yes,
also
Madam
including?
Chair. With respect to the DepEd, these are also, again, the list is here. With respect to DepEd, there will be accomplishment report dated September 30, 2023, for the period July 12 to September 30, 2023. So there's a covered period, actually, 2022, 2023, and also it's 2023, and the certification issued January 1, 2024. Certification dated December 30, 2023. So covering also the Department of Education.
I would therefore object, Madam Chair, because it is this humble representation's position that under the Duterte versus House of Representatives ruling, only actions pertaining to the impeachable office of the impeachable official can only be the subject matter here. Objection, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Rodriguez is consistent
May I
in his
respond to
position
that
since our
objection?
determination of substance. The Honorable
Yes.
De Lima.
Well, that matter was settled already during the proceedings for the determination in substance and also for the proceedings for the determination of whether there are sufficient grounds for impeachment. At any rate, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez made mention about the ruling of the Supreme Court in the SARA Duterte versus House of Representatives. And it says there, during the incumbency. Yes, it says there, during the incumbency of the impeachable official. Here, the Vice President. Now, it doesn't say in relation only to her office as Vice President. Because, you know, she was occupying the DepEd Secretary portfolio in her concurrent capacity as Vice President. Now, you don't distinguish the actions made, especially the anomalous actions, the impeachable offenses made because it's with the department, it pertains to the Department of Education. Just to explain it further, Madam Chair, what if the Vice President kills someone? It doesn't say it's in relation to or as Vice President and as DepEd Secretary, but that crime happens during her incumbency as Vice President. She may have two hands, as OVP, as VP, and as DepEd, but she has only one brain. She has one persona. She is the same person. Again, the Supreme Court says, during the incumbency of the impeachable official, but not in relation to. There's a big difference between that, the use of those phrases, during her incumbency and also in relation to her functions or duties as Vice President. So that is my counter-argument
With all due
to the
respect to
position
the
made.
Honorable De Lima and the Honorable Rodriguez, I believe that this issue has been deliberated upon
Correct.
amply during our determination of of sufficiency in substance and even in the sufficiency in ground. So, with the indulgence of all the members, let us proceed to vote on the motion for issuance of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum with respect to Attorney Gloria A. Camora and all the documents pertaining to the confidential fund in 2022 and 2023, both of the Department of Education and the Office of the Vice President. The same has been seconded. The motion was also objected to. Let us now proceed to vote. Members, please be ready to vote. With 29 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue the necessary subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Gloria A. Camora, and with respect as well to the production of pertinent documents on confidential fund of both the DepEd and the Office of the Vice President in 2022 and 2023. So ruled. The Honorable Dilemma to issue subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Lagunoy Madriaga, and for the production of affidavit dated November 29, 2025, as well as any other evidence in his possession. The same has been seconded by Vice Chair Dumogan. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, objection because again, there is a statement here in the third column that it's also his testimony on the DepEd's confidential funds where we have no jurisdiction. Objection, Madam Chair.
Considering that the motion has been objected to, we shall now proceed to vote. Committee on Justice members, please be ready to vote. This is on the motion for the issuance of subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Madriaga, as well as for the production of his affidavit and any other evidence in his possession. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. 29 votes in the affirmative, 1 vote in the negative, and 0 abstention. The motion is hereby granted. The Committee on Justice is directed to issue the necessary subpoena duces tecum and subpoena ad testificandum to Ramil Madriaga and for the production of his affidavit dated November 29, 2025 and any other evidence in his possession. So ruled. Honorable Dilima.
My undersecretary with the rank of undersecretary.
Honorable Dilima.
My motion was pertained only to the custodian of those COA audit records, including liquidation reports, disbursement vouchers, certifications, and related submissions from the custodian, the official custodian of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Office of the Commission on Audit. I won't have any strong objection to that request, since it's related to this item.
All right,
The
so
subject matter of the first motion that I put forth, which was approved by the body.
so the
Thank you.
chair will now act on the motion. The
Madam
committee
Chair.
will now act on the motion. Is that an objection to the motion of the
Definitely.
Honorable Tino?
I object. Are there documents that the Chief of Staff, Attorney Poa, has signed that he would be a witness to identify? May I ask the proponent?
Before we entertain the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez, let me just formalize that there is a motion raised by the Honorable Tino to issue a subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael Poa, considering that he was the Chief of Staff of the Office of the Department of Education during the alleged period of 2022 and 2023. Do I hear a second?
Second.
The same has been seconded by the Honorable D.S. Conghon. Now let's hear the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez.
Madam Chair, I could not find nexus borne by evidence or ultimate facts that would now make the Chief of Staff and lawyer of the Vice President to be subpoenaed. In fact, he has entered this appearance as counsel. So I would like to know whether there are documents which he certified or he signed that would make him be able to be invited, to be given subpoena to appear in this committee. Otherwise, then we can, just because they are in the office of the Vice President, we'll be giving subpoena to everybody there in the Vice President's office. So I object, and I would like to know about that. Are there documents that would show that he has been part of these confidential funds?
Yes, Madam Chair, in the third complaint endorsed by the Honorable De Lima, there is a section extensively discussing the role that then USEC Poa played in preparing the accomplishment reports pertaining to the use of the confidential funds, where and the complaint cites the transcripts of the hearings of the Committee on Good Governance on this matter, where USEC Poa admits that one, he was ordered by the Vice President to submit these accomplishment reports, and also cited in the complaint that the several Army units denied what was claimed in these accomplishment reports.
So we've heard the justification of the Honorable Tino. We've heard as well the justification and the objection of the Honorable Rodriguez. We are a collegial body, so we shall now proceed to vote on the motion
Before
of the
the
Honorable
voting,
Tino.
Madam Chair, I would like the proponent to show to us documents, certifications that had led to the release of these confidential funds. Because we are now already on the hearing, precisely. Are there any? Because if there's none, there is no reason to call him and subpoena a lawyer.
Madam
The
Chair,
Honorable
as I
Tino.
said, I cite the complaint itself, the third complaint.
Allegations lang naman yun, wala nga documentary.
Specifically, starting from
The process of utilization of the alleged confidential fund is not confined to the documents.
okay.
There could be actions that contributed to the utilization of confidential fund, which might be covered by the testimony of the possible witnesses.
Okay. Well, starting from paragraph 269 of the third complaint, page 90, there is a reference to former DepEd spokesperson. He was spokesperson as well as chief of staff, Michael Poa, testifying that he received envelopes directly from Vice President SARA herself. So this has to do with the allegation on bribery. And further, and there are other sections as well pertaining to the use of the confidential funds, Madam Chair. If Congressman Rodriguez would want, we can provide, given enough time, Madam Chair.
Oh, Madam Chair, we are now voting, so we should be able to get it. If there is. The fact that he's chief of staff and counsel will not, implicate him to be able to have that if there is no document. So I would object to that, Madam Chair.
With the indulgence of these two gentlemen, as to whether or not there's relevance in the presentation of Attorney Michael Poa, will be a question that rests on the judgment of the justice members. We shall now proceed to vote. Those who are in favor of the motion for issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael Poa, please raise your right hand. With 34 votes in the affirmative, 3 votes in the negative, and 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The committee is directed to issue the necessary subpoena ad testificandum to Attorney Michael Poa. So ruled. Seconded.
Madam Chair.
Point of
May we know the pleasure of the Honorable Rodriguez? Are
Madam
you-
Chair, I would like to know whether, directly, whether the motion would transfer custody of Mr. Madriaga to the House of Representatives premises.
May we be clarified on that, the Honorable Jokno?
I did not include that in my motion, Madam Chair.
I understand that the motion is only to make sure that he is in a secured place of confinement.
Yes. Madam Chair, it has already been stated that the Honorable Director of NBI has already assigned personnel to watch 24 hours. Mr. Madriaga in Camp Bagondiwa. In fact, the jail superintendent has already stated that Madriaga has been transferred to a solitary cell so that there'll be no other people there that will endanger his life. And so, Madam Chair, with the presumption, Madam Chair, of regularity of functions and that our witnesses will be fully protected, there's no need for this motion. Secondly, Madam Chair, Ramil Madriaga is a polluted source. He is facing kidnapping with murder charges. In 2021, one member of the anti-kidnapping gang was killed. The PNP member of the anti-kidnapping gang. And then they were arrested in 2022, 2023. That's why he is in jail. And now we're going to give credence to a polluted
Chair,
affidavit.
point
Madam
of order.
Chair, no,
There is
Madam
a
Chair.
point of order,
Let us clarify,
Honorable
we're trying to
Rodriguez.
protect somebody who's a polluted source. In fact, in
Madam
the
Chair.
cases of the
Honorable
Supreme Court,
Rodriguez, there's a point of order.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Let's hear the point of
Premature.
order. The Honorable De
Madam
Lima is
Chair, I
recognized.
submit that it's clearly premature for anyone to raise an issue of credibility on the part of the intended witness. He's not yet testifying. He will testify, and therefore, issues of credibility can be raised in the questioning, in the clarificatory questioning. Mr. Madriaga can be asked about those things during the hearing, the proper stage of the hearing, but not at this point. So it's out of order. Any such statement relating to the issue of credibility, statements like a polluted source, that is not yet proper at this stage of the proceedings.
Would you
Madam
like to
Chair.
raise a motion concerning the manifestations of the Honorable Rodriguez with respect to the credibility of Ramil Madriaga?
I move that that particular part of the manifestation of the Honorable Congressman Rufus Rodriguez with respect to Mr. Madriaga being allegedly a polluted source and the related statements with respect to the issue of his credibility be stricken off the records.
Is there any second?
Second, Madam
The
Chair.
same has
Madam
been
Chair.
seconded. Is there any
I
objection?
will, yes, of course, Madam Chair, because we are
Two
trying
two
to...
motions are pending now.
Yes.
One is the motion for the issuance of subpoena motion for protective custody of Ramil Madriaga, raised by the Honorable Chel Jokno, and second is the motion to strike from the record the manifestation concerning the credibility of Ramil Madriaga. The same has been seconded as well.
This presentation is not out of order. We are discussing about giving a bundle of rights, 3. All of this to be able to give that advantage, that perceived, safety issues which are not. That's why me stating that to give this bundle of rights, to give this protection, to all of this custody and so forth in a safe place, should not be given to a polluted source. That is the point that I have. And therefore, it is not out of order. We are discussing, we are objecting to this particular motion. And that is the reason why, these are the reasons why I say that we have to know this person whom we are giving all of these extra advantages and extra attention and care which he does not deserve.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable De Lima.
Mr. Madriaga is listed as one of the witnesses for the complainants. And that's why I asked for the issuance of subpoena juris tecum. And it's very clear under Section 8 of the Rules of Procedure in Impeachment Proceedings, protection to complainants or witnesses. The House may, upon proper petition, provide adequate protection to a complainant or witness if it is shown that the personal safety of the complainant or witness is in jeopardy because of participating in the impeachment proceedings. And we have heard the manifestation and the explanation of the Honorable Chel Jokno about the alleged threat to his safety. And therefore, it is very much in order that we tackle the issue of grant of protection in the mode that was described and asked or sought for by Congressman Chel Jokno, and the motion has been duly seconded. Thank you.
We've heard amply the argument of both the Honorable Rodriguez and the Honorable De Lima. For the guidance of the justice members, our parliamentary status is there's a pending motion by Congressman Chel Jokno for protective custody of witness Ramil Madriaga. The same has been seconded. The same is objected to by the Honorable Rodriguez. There's likewise a pending motion by the Honorable Laila De Lima to strike out from the record the manifestation of the Honorable Rodriguez pertaining to the credibility of witness Ramil Madriaga. The same has been seconded as well, and the same was objected to as well by the Honorable Rodriguez. We shall now proceed to divide the House, starting with the first motion. That is the motion of the Honorable Chel Jokno. Again, for the guidance of the members, the motion is for the protective custody of Ramil Madriaga. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand.
May I just clarify?
Yes, please.
That my motion requests, I am moving specifically for three things. Number
Yes.
one, that we make sure that there is additional security provided to Mr. Madriaga
You said from the NBI.
in his present place of detention by the NBI. Second, that both in the transport when he is required to come here to testify and while he is testifying, again, that adequate security be provided to him.
All right? So those who are in favor of the motion for protective custody of witness Ramil Madriaga, please raise your right hand. With 35 votes in the affirmative and 1 vote in the negative, with 0 abstention, the motion is granted. The Secretariat is requested to closely coordinate with the Office of the Sergeant at Arms and/or Legislative Security Bureau for the protection of Ramil Madriaga. As courtesy by the committee, please also notify the BJMP as well as the respective regional trial court which ordered his detention. So ruled. Indeed, all the pending matters were already addressed by the committee. The chair believes that we should...
Madam Chair.
The chair stands corrected. There's another pending motion from the Honorable De Lima. May we request the Honorable De Lima to restate the motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move that the portion of the statement or manifestation of the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez attacking the credibility of the intended witness, Ramil Madriaga, the issue of his credibility, those allegations about being a polluted source, Ramil Madriaga being a polluted source, be stricken off from the records.
There is a motion to strike out from the record the manifestation of the Honorable Rodriguez with respect to the credibility of witness Ramil Madriaga. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? There is an objection. Let's proceed to divide the House. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. With 34 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and 0 abstention. The motion is granted. The committee secretariat is directed to strike out from the record all the manifestations of the Honorable Rodriguez pertaining to the credibility of witness Ramil Madriaga. So ruled.
So moved, Madam Chair.
There is a motion for issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to the representative of Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as of subpoena duces tecum with respect to the general information sheet and annual financial statements of the business establishments mentioned already by the Honorable Redon. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection?
Madam Chair, objection. And
You're recognized,
the
Honorable
grounds for
Rodriguez.
objection. May I know first why these companies registered with the SEC will be subpoenas in its record. Is there a nexus between this to the allegations in the complaint, third and fourth complaint? May we know the relevance of these corporations to the present impeachment case against the Vice President?
The proponent first, Honorable Ridon, followed by the Honorable Keith Flores.
Mahalaga po yung pagpapaliwanag mula sa una, sa mga kinita po ng mag-asawang Duterte Carpio from their own personal income, which will be reflected from the annual income tax returns. Pangalawa, mula din po doon sa mga corporate documents kung saan po sila kasali. Sapagkat doon po natin makikita kung yung pong mga other lawful income para maipakita na ang lahat po ng kanyang kinita over the course of 17 years from 2007 ay mga lehitimo pong kita mula sa sahod at mula po sa kinita mula sa propesyon at mula po sa mga negosyo. So, meron pong clear relevancy. Ito pong mga SEC documents po na ito dahil dito natin makikita kung kumita ba o hindi ito pong mga kumpanya na ito sapagkat kung kumita po ito, maipapaliwanag ng atin pong pangalawang Pangulo at ng kanya pong mister na talaga pong kumita ng tama over the course of 17 years from other lawful income katulad ng propesyon at iba pang mga negosyo ang kanila pong pagsasama. So dito po maipapakita ng atin pong pangalawang Pangulo na hindi po unexplained wealth. Ito po kanyang pagkakaroon ng 88 million na net worth in 2024 kumpara po sa kanya pong kinita na cumulatively sahod from 2007 to 2024 na more or less mga 30 million to 40 million pesos lamang po, Madam Chair.
The Honorable Flores.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'm joining the objection of Congressman Rufus Rodriguez only on the following grounds, Madam Chair, that the request being made by Congressman Ridon covers periods when the respondent was not yet the Vice President, Madam Chair. I'm going back to the decision of the Supreme Court when it said that we can only file impeachment complaints against an impeachable officer for things done during the incumbency or while she is holding the impeachable office. So, by requesting documents or data or figures that would include the time when she was just Vice President or Vice Mayor, I think, in 2007, or holding other positions that are not yet or may be considered impeachable, that's where my objection is, Madam Chair.
Honorable Ridon, would you like to comment to that?
Tama naman po yun. Pero what we would want to be able to see is a complete financial picture of the Vice President from the time that she commenced the public office in 2007 as a Vice Mayor up until today. That would be a proper objection with due respect if we had ended our request previous to 2022. But to be clear, I think a big chunk of all of these businesses' requests will most definitely cover up until today, Madam Chair. And more particularly, there are specific firms here which basically cover the term of the Vice President already. Geometry, Security, Amianan Shores, Cable Tow are some examples. But to be clear, all of these are firms that had been listed in the 2024 SALN, which is why I think the nexus between the documents of the SALN and the corporate records is established as we speak, Madam Chair.
Would you
Madam
like to
Chair.
make additional manifestation?
May I secure from Congressman Ridon a statement of ultimate facts in the third and fourth complaint, which mentions these corporations? Are there any? None.
There is none.
None. Second, are there annexes that would show in the third and fourth complaint that would, mention and that would pertain to why you're going to ask for subpoena ducis tecum to the SEC and for the records there. Are there annexes in the complaint?
There is none.
Madam Chair, clearly this will be the biggest fishing fleet expedition that we are doing. Because it was, we only deal with ultimate facts. In fact, we are trying here to determine whether there is violation of the 6 grounds of the Constitution as stated in the 2 complaints. And so therefore, how can we have that, Madam Chair? So that's the first one. Secondly, did I hear from you that you want records from a law office? I heard something because this is new to us. This is a surprise to us, all of us here, that they are now a subpoena for entities that are not included in the complaint. So are you saying there's something about a law office?
To be clear, these are in the SALN of the Vice President for 2023 and 2024. So I think there is nothing that prevents this committee from basically issuing subpoenas on documents that are actually public documents, Madam Chair.
No, I'm asking specifically. There was a statement. You're asking for subpoena for a law office.
Yes, because our assumption is that this is an incorporated law office because it was stated as one of the business interests of the Vice President in her SALN.
Aware of the privilege communication between lawyers and client? This will exactly violate that provision of privilege. You cannot subpoena law firms for representing a person either accused or in impeachment cases. How can we subpoena a law firm for acting as a lawyer for the Vice President? Can you give us a reason why we should subpoena law firms under the rules of court and under the Code of Professional Responsibility? We cannot subpoena records of a law firm.
Sure, court records or communications between clients and the lawyers are absolutely privileged communications. But if this particular law firm is an incorporated entity within the Securities and Exchange Commission and had been submitting annual audited financial statements year after year and general information sheets, I don't think we are precluded as a committee, as an impeachment proceeding, from requesting these particular documents. We are not talking about conversations between the clients of Duterte Carpio or Carpio lawyers. We are talking about their financial output year on year. And to be clear, this is precisely the justification of supporters of the Vice President as to why her net worth, had ballooned to 88 million as against a computed cumulative salary of 30 to 40 million pesos. So I don't think there is reason to, in fact, object to getting all of these financial documents, whether from a corporation or whether from a law firm that is supposedly registered in the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Madam Chair,
May I call the Honorable Jokno first?
perhaps it would be more prudent if we could have the motion of Representative Ridon in writing so that we can consider all the angles and the aspects to that request. I think that we would need to tread carefully when it comes to these matters, especially given the points raised by Representative Rodriguez.
Motion, hearing suspended. The committee heard already the arguments of both the proponent and those who are opposing the motion. This is with respect to the motion of the Honorable Ridon for the issuance of subpoena ad testificandum to SEC representative and ad duces tecum, subpoena duces tecum with respect to the GIS and audited financial statement of certain business establishments mentioned already by the Honorable Ridon. Since we have heard already the arguments of both the proponent and those who are against, we shall now proceed to vote. We are reminded that we are a collegial body. All decisions come from the majority. So the justice members are reminded to be ready to vote. Again, the motion is to issue subpoena ad testificandum to SEC representative and subpoena duces tecum with respect to the certified true copies of GIS and AFS of the business establishments mentioned already by the Honorable Ridon. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? There is an objection. Those who are in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. With 14 votes in the affirmative, 2 in the negative, and 3 abstention. The motion is hereby declared granted. The committee secretariat is directed to issue the necessary subpoena ad testificandum to the representative of SEC and subpoena duces tecum for the production of GIS and AFS of the business establishments mentioned in the motion of the Honorable Ridon. So ruled.